We are very close to the end of our first year in Turkey and our 8th season managing on the Med. How is life going with Tuzlaspor going, though, I can hear you ask? Well... Hello and welcome back to another On The Med update with me, Dan, aka D-Boy Plays. Now, we are 27 games in to a 34-match league in Turkey, and our first season with Tuzlaspor has been a little bit ropey. So obviously at the end of the last video, we kind of showed you what the team we were inheriting were like, and there was a lot of deadwood, there were a lot of people that also wanted to leave. It was a hell of a balancing act, let's just put it that way. And we had a lot of, just so many players that were already leaving anyway. So as typical, I kind of thinned the herd, got rid of all the people from my list of who we could have, and looked at what we got and looked at what we could bring in. There wasn't a lot of talent that we could bring in. It was very, very challenging to actually put together a squad. We managed to put something together though, and we've not done too badly. We can see there, we're sitting in 9th. We've got the 40 points. We're safe. We're very, very safe from relegation. I hope we're safe from relegation, my word. But it's been a little bit laboured, and there's been a few things that I wasn't expecting when taking this job that have certainly made things a little bit harder. Number 1, you are only allowed to have Turkish players in the Turkish third tier, the Spor Toto 2. Yeah, wasn't aware of that when I took the job on, which definitely made improving the team considerably harder, because this might surprise you, but at that level, there's not a lot of good players. So we had to do a lot of hunting around. This is what we put together, but there's obviously been some ins and outs as the season's gone across. There's been a few players that have definitely been good and have stood out, and I like the look of them. So obviously, if we do a second season here, our contract runs out at the end of the year, hence why I say that. If we do a second season here, there's a few people I'll definitely want to keep, and there's definitely a few people I'm going to be saying goodbye to, because some people have really, really underperformed. But let's focus on the good players first, though. First player on this list is a player that's been nicknamed Gobble Gobble by chat. Thank you, Nud. And when we first brought him in, he had the potential to be good enough for the top tier, which is great. He's now good enough to be a keeper for the tier above us, which is fantastic. One glaring con with him, though, that you can see right there, he is a fairly inconsistent performer. Yeah, he does concede quite a bit, which is a little bit worrying. And I think that's one of those things. I think consistency is one of those things that sort of, because he's young, he's 23 years old. Maybe once he gets to like 25, 26, he'll be a lot more consistent. Maybe this is his first time playing like consistently at this level. Who was he at before? Is that Ankaraspor? That's a complete lie. He's played at this level for 5 years now. You'd think he'd be a little bit better. He might pull out his best performance yet. He has conceded the most amount of goals, though, so I imagine his time at Ankaraspor will be remembered better than his time at Tuzlaspor. But nonetheless, he is our number 1. He's not horrendous. Statistically, like, you look at his stats there, his attributes, I should say, they're not bad. The clean sheets, I can't say I'm going to entirely blame him, because the defence isn't perfect. Let's look at a couple of the other good players, though. This is one of our better players. Hamza Akman, really, really solid centre midfielder, is our advanced playmaker in the squad. Doubles up as a Metzala as well for us every now and again. Really, really solid, incredibly consistent performer. You can see his last 10 matches. There's a couple of games where we've struggled, but again, we've struggled as a team, so I'm not going to pin any blame on him. But overall, been really, really good for us. From the centre of the park, 9 assists, 1 goal in 26 games. That's not too bad. And yeah, again, one of these players that apparently is rumoured to be good enough to potentially be a Super League player. But I guess right now he's sort of sitting around that, good/leading player for the league above us. Yeah, he's pretty good. In terms of like the attributes that matter for his position, I'm happy with him. There's a couple of things I wish were a little bit better, but in general, I'm happy we move. And the last player on this list, another nickname player, Mr. Poopy Butthole for any fans of Rick and Morty. Yeah, pretty solid midfielder for us again. He's out injured at the moment, which is very, very irritating because he's one of our more consistent performers. Loves a big game as well. And again, I think he's good enough for the tier above. So definitely someone I want to keep come the end of the season. Very, very good for us, though. Very, very consistent performer. 5 goals, 5 assists from his 26 league games. I'm a fan. But therein lies my issue with this team. There are a couple of other players that look pretty good. We've got Attile Gozum, who plays our left wing. We've got Wesley Bromson, another nickname, thank you, MJ, who's apparently, you look at the star rating. Star rating's incredibly misleading in this game. And I think a lot of people, I fall for it every now and again. I think a lot of people, when they start the game, can fall for it. But there's not a lot of great players here. Again, star-wise, these players are supposed to be our best players, yet they're really, really inconsistent. They don't put in good performances. I got very, very frustrated in our last stream with Wesley Bromson because during this season, he has had 7 penalties. He's missed 3. Now, I know penalties are not a given. However, you would expect maybe 6 out of 7. 1 miss you put up with, but he consistently misses his penalties. He's almost at a 50-50 there. Luckily, he's scored 1 extra to, bump him over into that. And they really want us to make him our penalty taker, but he's so inconsistent, I don't want him anywhere near them. Yet, I don't really have anyone else in the squad that's any good at them. And for some reason in the Turkish third tier, there are a lot of penalties. So, yeah, might need him to do a bit of training, sort that out. Hopefully he can actually learn how to take them. You'd think as well as a striker you'd be quite good at finishing, but never mind. But pretty much as you see it, that team that we've got there, that most of them weren't here last year. So that could also be an issue with this team. They haven't had time to gel. Once they're settled, maybe they'll come good, maybe they'll get promoted. Who knows? I've got a lot of concerned players because I promised people things that I couldn't deliver on, which was terrible management from me, but I needed players in. What was I going to do? Not promise them? And this is where the real problems have come for us. Our form has been pretty inconsistent all year. Now, we started off the season with a 4-3-3. It's called a Turkish D-Light. D-boy, D-Light, very clever, very funny. We started off with that, and it wasn't too bad. 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. I would have liked to have, turned those draws into wins, turned those losses into draws, etc. But overall, I wasn't too displeased. It was kind of like, okay, they're doing fine. But I was obviously displeased enough because I decided to change formation to something else and completely messed with things. We got knocked out of the cup when we changed to a 5-3-2. Far too fancy for this level. I was getting a little bit too big for my boots, messing around with tactics and whatnot. We picked up some reasonable wins in there as well, but again, too many losses. So we went back. And when we changed back to the 4-3-3, my goodness, did we have a really nice run. That I was really, really happy with. Only picking up 2 losses, and what is that? 8 wins? Massive, absolutely huge for us. Really, really pleased to see that sort of happen. But then where we kind of finished our last stream was right here. We did play some harder teams, but no win in 5. That is a big problem, especially at this level when we were currently, we were sitting just outside playoffs. I mean, we are a point away from making playoffs. And obviously, winning the league would be fantastic. We would love to win the league, but we kind of agreed something over on stream, which I'm very happy that we've kind of agreed this because it's certainly taken a little bit of pressure off when we're doing this Journeyman. We decided, first of all, that the aim for the save, first of all, should be to win/achieve something in each country. We smashed Slovenia, Gibraltar, absolute doddle. Croatia, we eventually got that cup win, which was great. So we left Istra with something good. We're here with Tuzlaspor. We need to achieve something with them, right? And achieving something for us is either winning the league or getting promotion. So promotion, obviously, when you're in those lower tiers. If you're up in the highest league in a country, you have to win the cup or you have to win the league. Basically, one or the other. You don't really get a choice there. But if you're in this, we're in the third tier. If we did get them promoted, we would consider the Sport Toto 2 ticked off from our list. A lot of T's there. But I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I don't even know if we'll even make it to the playoffs, to be honest with you. It's looking less likely as the further things go on. I know that obviously right now we are 1 point outside of that, so anything could happen. We could easily, pick up a good bit of form, sneak into the top half, maybe get like a 4th, 5th 6th place to finish. But obviously that's completely dependent on how we cope with our next few fixtures, and obviously how the other teams in the top 6 cope with their fixtures as well. Let's just have a look actually again at what we've got coming up. Our final 7 games of the season, we've got the team that are down in 11th, 7th, 13th, 16th, 18th, 15th and 17th. I would say this is really favourable. Apart from Tuzlaspor, I think we should be winning the other 6. Based off the fact that we've been in and around playoffs all year, we're a good enough team to win this league, I think. I think we've just been unlucky. I think we've had a few games. Maybe if we had someone that could actually score goals consistently, we'd maybe have more of a chance of going up. But yeah, if we don't win 6 of those 7 games, I don't think we're going to be even in a shout of those playoffs. And that is obviously something I would love to achieve with this team. I think, again, this is a funny thing. We had this moment in Croatia. We did really, really well first season. We absolutely saved Istra from relegation. We almost got European football for them, for goodness sake. But then our first full season there, we had a really, really hard time. So we kind of just got to take it how it comes. Like I say, we have had talks about a contract renewal. I've basically said, no, we're not interested until it gets later in the season, because I think if we did get them promoted, we'd maybe Scarpa and then go and look at some other jobs. If we don't get them promoted, we kind of have to stay to do that. I feel like that's where my heart is thinking, at least. But ultimately, we just have to see where this journey takes us. It's one of the wonderful things about doing a journeyman save. It takes you on all these fun little avenues. We weren't ever planning on, I personally was never planning on managing in the Turkish 3rd tier, yet here we are. So thanks on the med. Yeah, we'll see how we get on, but yeah, we need some wins, desperately need some wins. Speaking of tactics a moment ago, I figured it's probably worth showing you our Turkish delight. It's nothing particularly sexy or interesting, it's just a 4-3-3 with a DM, but that is what we've got set up. Instructions-wise, it's very, very similar to what I've used in other games. Mentality, we haven't always played attacking, but we have been choosing attacking more and more as the season's gone on, especially when we're playing teams that we should be beating. And I don't know, that could possibly tie in with our recent batch of bad form. Maybe we've been playing too attacking for teams that we maybe should, hold back a little bit from. There was a thing as well, I think I saw it in a news article, maybe on the social feed. There was criticism that I wasn't playing direct enough, so maybe we need to venture into that avenue. Maybe that would suit our team a little bit. But yeah, and the other thing as well is obviously we do need to have a serious hunt for some good players, and that's also going to be a big deciding factor, depending on what's going to be available when people leave, how much we get in wage budget, if we get a transfer budget. That's if we get a transfer budget, we might even get one. But yeah, those factors, although we would feel like we owe something to Tuzlaspor for coming here, if we don't get anything to work with, what am I meant to do, But yeah, again, it's all those things. We're just going to have to see how it goes and take it from there, really. That is where we are going to wrap things up, though. Not the dream start to our adventures in Turkey, but never fear. I'm sure we can turn things around with a little bit of scouting, a little bit of recruitment. If we do a second season with Tuzlaspor, I'm confident that we can pull something together. If you do want to see this journey live, though, and you do want to come and hang out, I am live over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/dboyplays. Streaming the On The Med save 3 or 4 times a week. If you want to come hang out, you want to come and see what's going on in the adventures, make sure you come and check that out. There is a link in the description if you want to just click on that. It's much quicker. And if you're enjoying the videos around here, please drop us a like, drop us a subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, let me know what you're thinking. If there's anything you think I need to improve with the team, if there's any, if you've managed at this level, if there are any things that you found beneficial, please let me know. I'm open to suggestions. But yeah, much love. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.